Hello guys, it's me V Clifto bringing you the second part of this Kindred reveal. Kindred is the new champion if you've been living under a rock and you haven't noticed. But yeah, this is my second part. This is my part 2. Like I promised, I'm sorry that it's like a lot really late compared to when I really wanted to make it. I really wanted to make it like Saturday, which was sorry, it was like 2 days ago. I was planning on making it, but I had some things that came up, some homework and some stuff like that, and then I wanted to make it like kind of like last night, but then I lost my phone, so then I was kind of having a problem with that, and I still have lost my phone, so it's kind of been a rough weekend for me, but whatever. I'll survive. I'll probably get a new phone or find my old one. I don't know what happened to it, but let's go over this
The wolf was still following
this
me.
video. This is on the PBE, so it isn't out yet. Just in case you're watching it, whenever you're watching it, you're gonna have to just guide it by whatever you think. I did start this video a little bit late. I did get first blood against my friend. I've been on the PBE, and the problem with trying to get videos on the PBE, and I tried it for a while to get one. The problem is that everybody's locking it in like right away, and before they even call a lane, they're locking in Kindred. And they're playing him in the jungle, and it's like whatever, you know. And it's really hard to get me a game. So this is really just a 1v1 on ARAM, which I actually had a friend that has. I didn't completely remember if he had an account on the PBE. I just messaged him and asked him if he did, and he said yes. So I asked him for help on this video. So this is. My friend, he hadn't been on a video for a while, but his name is Fresh as Febreze. It's a funny name. Yeah, he hasn't been in a video in a while, but he helped me out with this video, so you know, big shout out to him. So let me go over kind of the little things and what I noticed, because I played one game before this with Kindred, and it was against bots. I got to play against bots because I didn't really want to go into a private, like it was like day one, and I was like, if I go into a blind game, everybody's going to be doing it. And I thought maybe if I wait a few days, that the game would, the people wouldn't be playing it as much or trying to do so much, trying to get it so easily. But yes, everybody's still just locking it in, people are saying, oh, I'm trying to test the Kindred build out, or Kindred out, and I'm like, why can't you just test Kindred out when they come out? You can test it all you want. The Kindred's going to be out forever. But no, the moment I want to make a video, and I seem to have a hard time getting it. Any other time I can get it, but when I want to make a video, it seems like everything just falls apart, and it makes it so hard to make a video. So this is why I am doing a 1v1 on Summoner Hollow Abyss. So hope you enjoy the gameplay. So let me go over what I first figured out in the bot game that I played. First thing I recognized is Kindred is gonna have a hard time in a solo lane. Why do I say this? Is because their passive. The she is the actual, like, the marksman, and then the ghost that follows him is a he, I guess. So if I keep saying she, I'm meaning, I don't know why. I hate that it's kind of like two champions put together. Yeah. Technically, whatever. But like I was saying, Kindred's gonna have a hard time in a solo lane, if that's mid lane or in top lane, because Kindred is gonna have, if they can't get the stacks in lane, then Kindred is naturally going to be. Oh, let me close my door real quick. Is naturally gonna be weaker than what her full potential could be, because if they can't get the stacks, then Kindred is naturally gonna be really weak. Kindred is pretty much, what I've discovered is a very good, if Kindred can get their stacks. Kindred will be a late game monster, because Kindred's going to be able to do a bunch of percentage of current health instead of just, regular auto attacks. But I found out that most of their abilities is not really. It's not. That's not the key point of Kindred. The abilities are going to be is not that strong. The wolf that you get to put down isn't that strong comparatively than a bunch of other marksmen. The Q your Q isn't really that strong. The slow is probably your strongest ability, but I mean it's not going to be. It isn't something like it isn't compared to Vayne late game, Silver Bolts and their ultimate works. If you don't know, works for both teams. So I find that the ultimate isn't that strong because it pretty much just delays the fight. But I'll go over that. I'll go over the abilities and stuff like that. What I thought about it, but Kindred is not going to be... Right now I'm going over the passive, so that's kind of why. But Kindred is not going to be strong in the solo lane if Kindred can't get the stacks in the solo lane. So, I mean, that is a problem you're going to have to... you're going to have to deal with if you go... If you're going to try to play them in the mid lane or in the top lane. You're going to have to be able to win your matchup. You're going to have to try to win your lane to be able to... If you think you're going to have a chance in the late game is to get those stacks, is you got to be able to get them in the early game because that's where Kindred is weak. But, I mean, most people are weak at the early game, or weaker. So that's kind of where you're going to try to have to show your dominance so that late game you can show your ultimate dominance, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of why I'd say in the solo lane. I still think Kindred in a duo lane or in the... I remember in my first video I said I hated the jungle, and I'll get to why I think the jungle is now more reliable why the jungle is a little bit more reliable than the two solo lanes. But yeah, like I said, to be able to succeed with Kindred in a solo lane, you're going to have to need help from the jungle or be really dominant, really strong on the champion to be able to outplay him, because Kindred's early game is generally weak because her auto attacks and her abilities don't do a whole lot of damage. All right, let's go over to the Q, and the main problem isn't the Q right now, the Q with just by itself. The Q by itself is not that bad. It does give you a little bit of movement speed, or like a little jump, so it gives you a little bit of a displacement of where you were, and that little jump is really nice. You get to do area of effect, or like 3 hits on people. Not a bad thing. The damage isn't too strong, but that's not a problem. I don't think the damage needs to be too strong. For the jungle, it's really good for just getting multiple, like, to do damage to multiple creatures. So it does its point. It's not going to be, it shouldn't kill, like, everybody. It shouldn't do so much that it just murders people. No, it's not going to do that. You're not going to like, I don't know what you would have to do to make Q to do a lot of damage. It's not going to do too much. The one problem I have with it is when you're in the frenzy, you reduce the cooldown by 2 while you're doing it in it. That's what happens. While you're in it and using the ability, I guess it goes down by 2, but while using the ability in Wolf's Frenzy, which is your W, the cooldown is way too long. Like, I don't mind the cooldown if you're out of the little, if you're not using Wolf Frenzy. Yeah, it shouldn't be, you shouldn't be able to jump around like Callista if you're not in it. But I believe that if you're in it, you should be able to, or there should be some way to reducing the time, because while you're in that Wolf's Frenzy, I think you should be really hard to kill. You should be able to jump around and be able to kite people like crazy, and it's not really that way. I only got it. I mean, I haven't done full cooldown reduction. Full cooldown reduction Kindred. I haven't done it yet, but I've done. I think in this video I got like 25%, and I didn't feel like a jump around really much, and I did it at 15%, and it was just like it felt like you should be able to jump a little bit more than you should, and I feel like they should reduce the cooldown of. I mean, if you're gonna reduce the base cooldown, then reduce the base cooldown a little bit. I mean, just do that, or reduce the cooldown while you're in it. That's what I'd rather. While you're in Wolf's Frenzy, I think you should be able to have like not, I guess not as much as, you know, if Callista had full attack speed, you shouldn't be able to jump around like crazy like Callista can. But you should be able to, you should be able to do some kiting. And it's not, I mean, yeah, reducing the cooldown by 2, you know, whatever. But I think they need to reduce it maybe by 4. You know, then you don't have to build too much cooldown reduction. And it's half the cooldown, you know, every 4 seconds you can jump around. Wouldn't be too bad. But that's what I believe. I believe that they should lower the cooldown a little bit in Wolf's Frenzy. Now, going over Wolf's Frenzy, I don't have a problem with the ability. The ability is kind of nice. It lets you do a little bit of bonus damage, and not too much. It's pretty much really good for the early clears. But what it strives to do really well in is, you know, getting that little bit of extra damage. It's not that bad. And it's nice that it actually scales with, Callista's passive. It does like 40% of Callista's passive.
You did.
But I remember this part. I got kind of like, dang, I tried cheating death and it didn't work. But like I said, Wolf's Frenzy, it's alright. It's an alright ability. It does decent damage. It shouldn't be overpowered. I feel like it's a balanced thing. The only problem I found with it, and I tried it in this, is I tried using the Spell Thief's Edge, and it didn't work. It didn't work with the Wolf's Frenzy. I think that to make Kindred an actual decent support, it should actually proc off Wolf's attacks. You know, you should be able to get the stacks pretty easily with it, and if you're by yourself with the other champions in it, it should easily make it should easily deal the damage off of that. I mean, it should be able to proc that. That's the only problem I had with it, is it wasn't procking Spell Thief's Edge, and I felt like it should. It should have had some form of where it would proc with it, so that Kindred could actually be a little bit stronger support than if it didn't proc. Even though Kindred doesn't have an AP scaling, I feel like even though they don't have an AP scaling, it's kind of like you're not buying it for the AP. You're buying it for a little bit of cooldown reduction, and then also the ability to have almost easier procs of your of it. That's what I believe. If they're not gonna fix it, they're not gonna fix it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I can't see it.
Next is your E ability. I forgot what it was called, but the slow is nice. The bonus damage is alright. The one thing that's kind of trippy is that once you get the 2 auto attacks, and if you are in range and you shoot like the auto attack, Wolf actually will follow them no matter how far they go. So it's alright. It just seems like you can't really auto attack while Wolf is running, so you can't, like, if another target comes and you use that, you're kind of stuck. If they run really far away, or they have you know, a Thresh Lantern into a Vial, if they're Vi and Vi ult somebody else and they run away, you know, it feels like you're not going to be able to get away, really. I mean, you're gonna get killed pretty easily because you can't auto attack while the Wolf is, you know, it doesn't make sense to me. I feel like you should be able to auto attack while Wolf is moving. But, you know, the slow is nice. The bonus damage isn't too bad. It's an alright ability. It works really well with Kindred, giving them a little bit of a slow. I mean, it's a nice ability. I liked it. It's not that bad. Kindred as a whole is a good champion. I feel like it maybe need a little bit of tweaks to help out a little bit on the solo lanes if something happens, to give them a little bit of a chance. But other than that, Kindred is a pretty well balanced champion. Now, the part that people keep thinking, I'm going to go over the ultimate, and everybody is saying, like, oh, Kindred's ultimate is overpowered. It isn't overpowered. Kindred's ultimate is not overpowered at all. Like, it feels like more like Kindred's ultimate is more of a... This is what I told my friends, and I fully back what I said, is that Kindred's ultimate is pretty much, it feels more like a Bard ultimate with an Echo ultimate put together. Kind of like where you're put into a stasis where you're not going to die, but then you also get healed. Sorry. You get a little bit of a heal afterwards, so it's kind of not, you know, it's not going to be like a lot of healing. It's just going to be a little bit of the healing, which, you know, whatever. It feels like it all it does is delays the fight. It delays the fight a lot. It doesn't
I want that booty.
it doesn't really make the heal isn't that strong, and it works for, that's what people have not read yet, that it actually works. It heals and protects both teams. If you haven't read it yet, you have to read it correctly. It heals and protects both teams. So it's not very overpowered. If you use it and your team is losing, yeah, your team can come back in the fight because they're not going to die, and then they can fight it back and they can come back from the fight. But the problem is let's say you use it to help one or two members of your team, and then your team starts winning the team fight because like they use their ultimates or whatever, and they're still inside Kindred's ultimate. It's just going to be like, okay, it just stalls the fight out. And if you could have won the fight without Kindred ultimate, and the Kindred ultimate just, it could turn the fight in the enemy's favor. Even, I mean, you know what I mean? You could, yes, be in a downfall that, yeah, two members are kind of weak and you want to use it to save them. But if your team would have won the team fight, losing those two members, but you would have gotten an ace, it could really hurt your team if that's what happens, because Kindred's ultimate, it helps two people. Like, it would be overpowered, no joke. Yes, I understand. It would be overpowered if it only helped Kindred's team. It'd be really overpowered because you're pretty much just saying, okay, your team will not die. It's a big area of effect. Not gonna die, but they can still auto attack and stuff. Like, they can still heal and stuff like that. Like, that's just gonna be, that would be, I agree with you. It's gonna be, that would be overpowered. But I think the stasis, yes, the stasis is nice. Maybe if you gave the stasis to everybody, but I believe the heal maybe, to make it a little bit more, like, yeah, Kindred's ultimate actually will help their team more in the long run. The heal should only go to Kindred's team. It's not a big heal. It's like, at max rank, it's like 300 or 400 health heal. I mean, it'd be a little bit, I mean, but the enemy team shouldn't get also that heal. Because unless you have a team that is like Gragas, which actually would be a pretty good person with him, Gragas could knock everybody out of it, and then people could kill them while they're outside of Kindred's ultimate. But other than that, like, it pretty much, it isn't really overpowered. It isn't as overpowered people say it is. You're gonna heal the enemy team, and it's still gonna, you know, regenerate their health, and they're still not gonna die. So don't think it's super overpowered. I feel like it more delays the fight, if anything. It just prolongs the fight until it's over, and then people are gonna use it. So if you see Kindred use her ultimate, don't use your ultimate. Like, pretty much, you shouldn't blow all your damage right then and there, because they're gonna get a stasis, and they're not gonna die right away. So using that big powerful ultimate is not gonna help you out. And also, they're gonna get a heal right afterwards. And if you're someone like, let's say Vygar uses his ultimate, and the ultimate is, you know, pretty much negated because of Kindred's ultimate, then Vygar really loses a lot of his damage or a lot of his output. So, and if he blows all his spells and he runs out of mana, you know, that is the big problem. Is if that is probably by far the biggest problem, is if Kindred, if you don't get the, if you blow all your ultimates, then the team with the less sustained damage is going to lose the fight no matter what. So, I mean, you just got to keep that in mind, is that Kindred needs to have that, Kindred needs to, sorry, I'm confused. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. Let me think what I'm trying to say. Kindred's ultimate is not overpowered. That's pretty much what I want to say. Is Kindred's ultimate is nowhere near overpowered. It's probably underpowered, if anything. If it, like I said, if it just gave the heal to the ally teams, then I feel like it would be a little bit more balanced in the form of, it's actually an ultimate that helps out Kindred's team other than the other team. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say. And two other topics I want to talk about or two main topics, and then I'm going to go to builds, is the Kindred's W gives Kindred so much sustain. That is the one thing that Kindred has that, I don't know, they may tweak it, But like being able to walk around and get your health back, it's like almost free life steal. Oh my gosh, that is pretty. It feels like it's overpowered in the beginning of the game. You see me and my friend just like we'll poke at each other and then we'll just walk around and get our health back. It was no problem for us to get our health back. So that's gonna be kind of a thing that I think they may need to tweak, is maybe how much health is actually regenerated, because Kindred can just pretty much survive the fight. Kindred has built-in lifesteal in the stacking static shiv kind of way. The other thing is I hope this is just a bug, but during this game, like I kept trying to put the target, or like try to pull up the menu so that I can make my make the other Kindred my target, and it feels like at certain points, like at like 20 minutes in the game, your passive just stops interacting really well. Like it keeps like disappearing and reappearing, and I don't know exactly how to get it to come back. I would click the passive mark sometimes and it would sometimes work, and then I would click the other button and it would work, and it just felt like it would just randomly appear and disappear, and I feel like that is a bug. I hope it isn't. One thing to notice, I don't know if it doesn't tell you in the passive, but you can only get 6 stacks off of the jungle creeps. So once you get out of it, you do have to hunt people, and there is a little bit of a delay between, so you can't just go, oh, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna switch to this person, then I'm gonna you can't do that. It won't let you do that. You're not gonna get in one team fight get all 5 stacks. You at best, I'm pretty sure you can't even do it, but you could possibly get 2 stacks in a team fight if you were able to switch it real quick and the fight delayed. But there is a delay between when you choose the champion and when you can actually hunt them. And then there's a delay between after you've already hunted them, you can't hunt them again after a certain amount of time, and it doesn't tell you that in the thing. But that's what me and my friend figured out, is that there is a little bit of a delay when you can go hunt that same person again. So you just got to keep that in mind. Is there is some problems with the passive. I hope it gets cleared up a little bit sooner than later. But those are the 2 last topics I kind of want to talk about. Kindred as a whole is a pretty good champion. I feel like if they just tweak a little bit of Kindred's ultimate to where it only heals their Kindred's team, then maybe it will actually be a little bit better. I mean, having that heal to last to heal their team, it's not too much of a heal. It's a decent heal, but it's not, it's not gonna be overpowered heal. It's almost as strong as, like a maxed healed Soraka of a Q, not her ultimate. So, it's not going to just automatically give everybody full health like, I don't know, zillion ultimates and stuff like that. It isn't going to do that, but it will. It should, if they only give the heal to the ally team, it would actually give Kindred's team an actual, it'd make it feel more like an ultimate of helping your team out than just helping, like, what I mean. One cool trick you could do with the ultimate, I guess, is to actually take a tower. Because the tower would technically not kill. If the tower's like at half health and your build was strong enough to do a lot of damage within the time period of the ultimate, you could actually take a tower. So that's a nice little tip you could do. But other than that, that's pretty much all of Kindred's abilities. I wasted most of the time on that. Now I'm gonna use the rest of the time to talk about builds. Most people. Okay, well, I'll talk about what we did in this video. I built my typical Aurelia build, where you build a Triforce and you build a Blade of the Ruined King, and then you build tanky. And my friend built full attack speed Kindred. So we both were having fun. I don't know which build is the best. Most people are building them out of the jungle. They're building a Devour, which, like I said, would be the smart idea. You could actually build a, because I think they tweak. I don't know if it was the last patch, but they are tweaking Devour to where, I didn't actually read the last patch notes. It may have been the last patch notes. Or Devour now only, for ranged champions, it only does the 2 stacks for 1 auto attack thing. Only for ranged people every 4th one, instead of every second auto attack. It's gonna be every 2 auto attack. It's gonna be every 4 auto attacks. So that if it's in this new patch, maybe it maybe be better not to actually, and maybe better not to build Devour. Maybe it's better to build Warrior to get that early, ganking to where you can actually get your stacks early. And the cooldown reduction wouldn't be bad. So maybe Warrior would be a good idea. Devour, people are building it, but it is to do that attack speed. And then they build a Blade of the Rune King, and they build a static Shiv. And once you get like the 6 stacks from the jungle, because that's the max you can get from the jungle, you pretty much have a Blade of the Rune King. So with 2 Blade of the Rune Kings, you do like 16% current health. And I guess with the Devour, when you hit that double shot, you're doing 32% of their current health. So that is kind of insane. I mean, if you can get it off on the first auto attack, you're going to take 32% of their health if you have like a full penetration. So that is a little bit nice, but you pretty much your passive is a Blade of the Rune King, or you can even probably get it stronger than a Blade of the Rune King. But yeah, most people are building a Devour, Blade of the Rune King, and then Static Shiv. They don't really feel like they need the extra damage because they have current health. The passive with the Blade of the Rune King is enough to do damage so that they feel like they don't need to build an Infinity Edge. They can just build a Static Shiv, and having that attack speed can do a lot of damage. I mean, since you're doing like current health and stuff like that, that's what people are mostly doing. It's not a bad build, but I feel like your auto if someone has a burst damage and you can't use your ultimate. I mean, that's the kind of thing. Is you're kind of an anti-burst champion because you can use your ultimate to stop the burst from happening, but you don't have a lot of burst. So if you don't have your ultimate or you can't do it fast enough, then you may have a problem with going against bursty people. I don't know, but you don't have to do that much damage. You can just run in and just kill people and do damage. But you could also build, I haven't seen much of it yet, but you could pretty much build a regular ADC kind of build where you build a Bloodthirster with an IE, Static Shiv, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, all that good stuff that you would want on an ADC. And probably every little auto attack would half health people. If you had close to 8 or 9 stacks of your passive, then you'd pretty much half health everybody. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, this is only PBE. This is only like the 3rd game I've had, or like 4th game of Kindred that's been in it or something like that. So, I mean, there's probably people that have built Kindred as an ADC or even played them as an ADC. But that is kind of my thoughts is that, yeah, you could build him as an ADC. But I liked my build. His build wasn't bad at all. He won a couple fights. I won most of them, but that's probably because I got an early lead and I had armor and I slowed his attack speed and all that stuff. But I hope you liked the video. If you had any comments, please leave them down below. I'm glad that I could actually play this a little bit early, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, leave a comment below, subscribe if you haven't yet, so I'm gonna bring out more videos. As always, stay cool, my friends.
Reporting you, man.